In this video, we're going to compare the Slam Shady 2.0 versus the Slam Shady Mulligan. These are our two most popular paddle tails now, and a question came in is, hey, when should I get one over the other? You know, which one is better? And so I just wanted to make this video just to cover that in detail, because like most things, there's not one that's better than the other across the board. Pretty much all lures have their unique pros and cons, and that's certainly the case for these as well. And so what we're going to cover in this video is really about, you know, which one can outshine the other in certain situations. So let's first just go into the differences about these two lures. So we'll start with this one. This came out about 2 to 3 years ago, and this has been our top seller by far. This thing has just proven to catch a ton of fish really throughout the season. Been very happy with this. There has been a lot of personal bests caught with this across the years, and this has been the one that I have the most underwater footage of just big fish eating it right in front of a camera. It works so good that even with the camera right in front of it, they'll still hit it. So the general specs is this is 3.5 inches long, but it's very thin profile, so it does a really good job of mimicking small bait fish. And small bait fish are inshore most of the season, which is why it's a good just all-purpose lure. And so another good feature of this lure is the shape of the head, and that shape enables it to be rigged on weighted hooks, where you can rig it on a weighted hook and it has great action. Also, you can rig it on jig heads as well. So again, just been a nice all-purpose lure that has resulted in an absolute ton of fish catching for Salt Strong members over the years. So now, why did we come out with this new Mulligan lure, right? What is the difference? And number one is size. So I'll just put them next to each other. So as far as the size, you can see this top one is just flat out bigger. It's 4 inches versus 3.5. Also, it's much thicker. We look at the size profile, right? It's just taller. And we'll look at it from the bottom, and we'll see that this top one is obviously much wider. And also the skin, right? So this Mulligan was really designed to be the farthest casting paddle tail in its class. This is a 4-inch paddle tail, and so far for every single one that we've tested, this absolutely casts further. And that's really for two reasons. Number one is just the fact that it's just a nice, dense, hard, strong material that has a lot of mass. Also, the skin is like a golf ball. It has dimples, and those dimples enables it to just cut through the air better, just like a golf ball. And so for those reasons, this has a huge advantage when we're covering water, when we're power fishing and in need of covering a lot of water. This has a noticeable difference. And just like the 2.0 we looked at earlier, the shape of the head is done so that we can rig it on weighted hooks, where it has a nice clean glide through the water. It looks natural. And also we can rig it on jig heads, right? Just like the other one that can be rigged on jig heads of pretty much all different types. And this is a new style where there's a weedless jig head where you can cover deeper water while being weedless. Obviously these both rig nicely on traditional jig heads as well. And so as far as determining which one you should go with, I recommend focusing on the size, and really just want to match the size of the lure to the size of the bait fish in the area. And so if you're seeing bait fish that are 3.5 inches or smaller, that's when the 2.0 is undoubtedly going to be the best option, just simply because it mimics those smaller bait fish much better. Even if the bait fish are really small, if it's little fry bait, right, which we often see in like early spring, late winter, then I'll actually tear the tail off just to have a nice small profile. In fact, this head is in this nice shape. This rigged on a weedless hook without the tail, it is shockingly good. We call it the nub. And so when this new Mulligan comes into play, where it has a noticeable advantage over the 2.0, that's really when the bait fish are going to be a little bit bigger. And the reason why it has an advantage is because it can be rigged on both weighted hooks and jig heads, just like the 2.0, but this can just cast a lot further. You can cover water more efficiently. And so for that reason, I'm now actually using this more than the 2.0. I still have both in my tackle bag in all cases, because again, if I see small bait fish, I'm going to the 2.0. But now it's just given how much further I can cast and how much easier it is to fish, where I can just cover more water with less effort, I've really switched to mostly this Mulligan profile. But when I'm out there and I see smaller bait fish, I am very, very quick to switch to the smaller ones. So long story short, both of these are great lures. I do recommend having both in your tackle bag, just for those situations where one can outfish the other. And so if you don't yet have various sizes of paddle tails, highly recommend picking some up. We have a ton of options at fishstrong.com. And for you Insider Club members, you get all of them at 20% off, which can be huge savings over the years. And again, same with rigging as well. We have a ton of weighted hooks, ton of jig heads, even these new weedless jig heads, which have been awesome. They're all at fishstrong.com, and again, 20% for all members. So thank you so much for watching. Any questions at all, leave it down below. Otherwise, hope to see you again soon.